begin, before we get to it, let me share the special news with all of you. So, as I informed you that my new batch begins this month on the 28th next week. So, the batch is still, we still do have a few limited seats open, they're still available. So, if you are going to appear for the IELTS exam, if you are looking for coaching, LeapScholar is right here with you. Our batch starts on 28th of July. It's a 1-hour crash course which will last for 4 weeks. We will cover each module, and let me tell you that the speciality is that you will get 5 speaking evaluations and 5 writing evaluations with this batch. All right. So yes, if you do want speaking and writing practice, I think this is a really good option to begin. Good afternoon, Jetstream. All right. So yes, additionally, just wanted to inform you that if your grammar is not great, if you feel a little nervous or if you're not sure about your grammar, you can also join us every Saturday. We have grammar club with this crash course. So if you enroll in the crash course, you would get access to grammar club as well. So usually this course is for 249. However, today, only for today, the course is not for 149. No. So it is for 149, and on top of that, you will get 20% off if you use my code DMLive20. So after all of these discounts, it will come to just 119 rupees. That's all. Just 119. So in 119 rupees, you're getting live classes, you're getting one-on-one doubt solving sessions, one-on-one speaking evaluations, and personal writing sessions as well. Isn't that amazing? That sounds too good to be true, doesn't it? All right. So I hope to see you all on 28th sharp at 5. Will I be seeing you? Let me know. So am I going to see you? Just comment yes, or you can comment me. Let me see who all am I going to meet on 28th. Same here, Anima. So glad to see you again. Awesome. Ranju is already there. That's lovely. Yes, agreed, Arshdeep. Even in Delhi, it's a very rainy afternoon. Yes. I'm doing well. How are you? Hello, Saravanan. Hi, Simran. Hello, Dimple. All right, great. So yes, if you have any questions about the batch, any doubts about the crash course, you can leave them in the chat box. I will definitely reply. And if you want to enroll, you can just click on the link in the comment section. It will take you directly to my course. Awesome. So Vivekanand is going to join me. I will see Vivekanand and Jagdish. Awesome. So Raman is in Bagisha ma'am's class. That's awesome. Shweta has joined. Great. Yes, Sonia, I am going to meet at 6. Absolutely correct. Okay, so Shweta wants to know how many writings would be evaluated. So yes, 3 writings would be evaluated. How much time would it take? Maybe 3 to 4 days for evaluating. All right. So let's begin today's session. Let's look at listening. As I said, I'm going to practice something which is a little tricky. So what question can you guess usually comes in part 4 and part 3? Which question usually comes in the 3rd and 4th part of your listening test? So yes, one of them is note completion, agreed, which is super tricky. And the second, which question is it? So yes, absolutely correct. It is MCQs. Yes, MCQs are the question type which usually appear either in part 3 or part 4. Now, what exactly is this part 3 and part 4? Let's quickly recap the listening test a little. So in the listening test, you have 40 questions. So first thing that I want to tell you, it is the same whether you are appearing for the general IELTS or the academic IELTS. So the question paper is going to be exactly the same. You would have 40 questions, and for these questions, a recording will play which lasts for 30 minutes. So the recording will last for 30 minutes. You cannot pause the recording. You cannot play it. It plays on its own. You can't repeat it, right? It plays only once. The recording shall play only once. So once the recording plays, You cannot stop, pause, or control it. You can just listen to it and solve your questions along with that. Now, if you are going for the paper-based test, you have 10 minutes extra at the end after the recording finishes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. However, if you are going for the computer-delivered test, you have around 4 minutes extra. These 4 minutes are over and above the pauses between the 4 recordings. So after every part, there will be a short pause, and these 4 minutes are over and above those to check your answers. So in the computer delivered test, please go ahead and write your answers there and then. Don't wait till the end to transfer them. That won't be enough time. Okay. Now, as I said, there are 4 recordings. These recordings get progressively difficult. What does that mean? That means that the third recording is difficult and the fourth one is the most difficult. And in these 2 parts, the most difficult ones, you get your listening MCQs, right? There's no negative marking. So let's say even if you don't get the answer, you didn't hear it, just make an educated guess. Better than leaving the question blank. And you should use a pencil only. A pen cannot be used in your listening test. Now let's understand, since I said that MCQs are in third and fourth section, how to solve these. What tips can I give you? All right, so let's begin with general tips. The first best thing for preparing the exam is watching movies. So movies which are British or American. Why? They will help you predict what will be said by providing some visual cues. Also, films expose you to a lot of different English accents. So they will help you become more skilled in understanding a wide variety of accents throughout different regions in the UK. And this is important because in the IELTS listening test, they not only use a range of English accents, so not just British, but also American, Australian, right? Also, music. So music is a great aid to memory. The rhythm, rhyme, and melody will help you focus. And the word stress is best learned through music. So if you have any suggestions for movies, films, or series, or TED Talks music in English, leave your suggestions in the comment section so that other students can benefit from them as well. So let me know, what all movies do you watch? What movies do you watch? What songs do you love listening to? Let me see your suggestions. One Direction, all right. Anima says One Direction. Yes, definitely. Even I am a 1D fan. Who else? What else? Harry Potter. Yes, I am a Potterhead, as they say. High five, Regal, from one Potterhead to another. So 10 points to Gryffindor. Yes, Afzal. All right. What other suggestions can you give me and your friends? Money Heist. Okay, Money Heist is uses dubbing. All right, but yes, you can. The storyline is super interesting. Perfect. That's an awesome recommendation by Sai Shekhar. He says Sherlock Holmes. Now, Sherlock Holmes is a beautiful recommendation. It uses a lot of different and uh, you know tough accents. That's a brilliant suggestion. Thank you, Sai Shekhar. Narcos is not is your American accent again with Spanish and Mexican accents. Avengers, all right. Netflix series, all right. Which one, Vartika? Sahib, Family Man isn't English, so let's skip it. Okay. Lucifer, okay. Suits, Westworld. Yes, Westworld uses a lot of good accents. Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, Better Call Saul. Yes, Samyak. Chernobyl, yes. Peaky Blinders, wow. Sai Shekhar has another another series with British accents for you, which is Peaky Blinders. Yes, that I would definitely recommend. Vikings, The Merchant of Venice. All right. Friends and Big Bang Theory would be American. All right. Yes. So some great recommendations in the chat box overall. Never have I ever. Yes, definitely. So do go through this comment section. Some of my favorite series and movies are here. So do check that out. And let's move forward to now tips relevant to MCQs. How to ace your MCQ section, how to score full marks. Okay. So in the MCQ section, why is it difficult? What happens is there are a lot of options for a question and all of these options are going to be there in the audio. So that is what makes it tricky. My first tip is, don't immediately pick the answer you hear. Let's say you hear an option. Wait. Look out for any distractors. Maybe after a second, don't stop listening. Maybe after a second, they might say, no. Earlier it was like this. Now, however, it isn't. Right? So keep waiting, keep hearing for detractors. Okay. Now your MCQ answers are usually in sequence. So answer one comes first, second comes later, third comes after that. So my strategy is listen for two questions at the same time. Listen for question 1 and 2 together. Why? Why should I listen for two questions at the same time? Can someone tell me why? Why should I listen for two questions at the same time? Well, simple logic. How would I realize that I've missed the first one? If I'm not listening for the second answer, the entire audio would finish and I wouldn't realize that I've missed the first one. Right? So if you're listening for two answers at the same time and you hear the answer for the second question, that means you've left out the first one. That's okay. Don't get disheartened. Quickly move on. Take the second one and listen, start listening for the third answer. Okay. And as I said, answers are always paraphrased. There will be a lot of paraphrasing used, a lot of synonyms that you would have to look out for. And all the options are going to be in the audio. So just because you heard that word does not mean that is correct. The option needs to answer the question. So don't mark an option just because you heard the same word, right? For example, let's say the question says, why was the teacher happy? And one option says she got a promotion and the other says she didn't get a promotion, right? So just because you hear the word promotion, don't mark the first one. Maybe it could be the second one as well, right? So keep listening, look out for other words as well. All right. Let's move forward and look at our first question. So the first question that I'm going to play is tricky. It's a little difficult because it came in the fourth part of your exam. All right. So let's first read the questions, underline our keywords. So here is my question. Let's take some time to read this. All right. So it says, what led the group to elect their topic? What do you think? What's a good keyword in this question? What led the group to elect their topic? All right, I think Afzal has just cracked a joke which I missed. All right. Okay. Perfect. Exactly. So what led, as in why did they elect this topic? Okay. The exact proportion of land devoted to private gardens was confirmed by. So how did they confirm the land? Now, I'm just reading the questions. You need to read the options as well. The group asked garden owners to do what? So, what did garden owners do? Next says the group made their observations in which kind of gardens? Right? So, they made their observations in which gardens? And the group did extensive reading on what? So, look out for what did they do extensive reading or study on? The speaker focuses on three animal species because, what do you think? What's the keyword in the last one? What keyword do I have for the last question? So the speaker focuses on three animal species because, yes, Abdul. Perfect. So these animal species or three animal species. All right. You can take 10 seconds more to go through the options. Okay. Now, another thing that you should ideally do is predict. Predict which option could be correct. So read the first question, what led the group to elect their topic, and predict which answer could be correct. They were concerned, they were interested, or they wanted to investigate. What do you think? Make a guess. Wow, that is an awesome score, Ajneesh, especially in listening. Wow, congratulations. Many, many congratulations. All the best for your future. And Ajish, since you've got such a brilliant score in listening, do share your tips and tricks with your students, with the students who are here. All right, so Nikita says it could be A, Manasi says B, Paramveer says C. All right, so we have all three options as guesses. Okay, so yes, do make predictions for all of them, right? And now I am going to play the recording. Let's see if your predictions were correct or not.
Good morning. Today I'd like to present the findings of our Year 2 project on wildlife found in gardens throughout our city. I'll start by saying something about the background to the project, then talk a little bit about our research techniques, and then indicate some of our interim findings. First of all, how did we choose our topic? Well, there are 4 of us in the group, and one day, while we were discussing a possible focus, 2 of the group mentioned that they had seen yet more sparrowhawks, one of Britain's most interesting birds of prey, in their own city centre gardens, and wondered why they were turning up in these gardens in great numbers. We were all very engaged by the idea of why wild animals would choose to inhabit a city garden. Why is it so popular with wildlife when the countryside itself is becoming less so? The first thing we did was to establish what proportion of the urban land is taken up by private gardens. We estimated that it was about 1/5, and this was endorsed by looking at large-scale usage maps in the town land survey office, 24% to be precise. Our own informal discussions with neighbors and friends led us to believe that many garden owners had interesting experiences to relate regarding wild animal sightings. So we decided to survey garden owners from different areas of the city. Just over 100 of them completed a survey once every 2 weeks for 12 months, ticking off species they had seen from a pro forma list, and adding the names of any rarer ones. Meanwhile, we were doing our own observations in selected gardens throughout the city. We deliberately chose smaller ones because they were by far the most typical in the city. The whole point of the project was to look at the norm, not the exception. Alongside this primary research on urban gardens, we were studying a lot of books about the decline of wild animals in the countryside and thinking of possible causes for this. So what did we find? Well, so much that I just won't have time to tell you about here. If you're interested in reading our more comprehensive findings, we've produced detailed graphic representations on the college website, and of course any of the group would be happy to talk to you about them. Just email us. What we've decided to present today is information about just 3 species because we felt these gave a good indication of the processes at work in rural and urban settings as a whole.
All right. Okay. Let me see your answers. And then I am not going to tell you the answers. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what the speaker said, and then let's see if you can get the correct answer. All right. Okay. Amandeep, are you sure, Amandeep? So are you marking this option because you heard one word out of there? All right. We'll see why this is not the answer. Not really, Jetstream. They actually said the opposite of this. Okay, what about the others? Let me see your answers. All righty. Hello, Mansi. Okay, I am going to tell you what the speaker said, and then you can tell me what was the answer. Sounds better? You get another chance to check your answer that way. So Parishi, one is starting on 28th of July. All right, so let's look at the first one. It says, what led the group to elect their topic? And the person says that the sparrowhawks, the birds, sparrowhawks, I think that was the bird's name, were flocking to the city gardens in large numbers. Okay. So if they were coming to the city gardens in large numbers, the first option cannot be correct because the first option says the opposite thing. It says decline of the species. So that is not true. So what exactly does he say after this? He says they were engaged by the idea of why wild animals were flocking to the cities in large numbers. So now can you tell me what could be the answer? Now what do you think? So I have told you what he said. What do you think now could be the answer? So engaged by the idea of why wild animals were coming to the city. So that's a new phenomena that's happening, right? That all the sparrows were coming to the city gardens. So they wanted to investigate that recent phenomenon. So my correct answer in this case is C. All right, so I hope you got that right. Great, I can see a lot of correct answers. Great. The next question says, the exact proportion of land was confirmed by, now very interesting. Yes, he does say large scale, but large scale what? What do you think? What did you hear? Large scale what? So he said was confirmed by looking at large scale survey maps. So is looking at the same as taking photos? What do you think? No, Parishi. So is looking at same as taking large scale photos? No, right? Looking at means reading or going through. So they were looking at large scale maps or documents, which is not the same as clicking pictures, right? So the correct answer in this case is, what do you think? This time it's going to be looking at means consulting the documents. All right. Let's move forward to the next question. The group asked garden owners to, again, now they had to complete a survey, ticking off the species they had seen. What do you think? Ticking off the species they had seen. Which option is the closest to this answer? So they had to keep a record of animals they saw. They had a list and they have to tick off the ones they had seen. All right. And the next one says the group made their observations in what kind of gardens? Right? So now he says we selected not large. He says we selected the gardens which were by far the most typical. So what is a good keyword or what is a good synonym of typical? Typical is a synonym for representative, right? So my 34th answer is B. All right. Moving forward to 35, the group did extensive reading on. Now he says he investigated or he did a lot of study to find out or to check the decline of wild animals in the countryside. So what do you think? What is a synonym of wild animals? So decline of wild animals, right? That is a problem. And countryside means the rural areas. So now it's going to be A. All right. And number 36, he says why does he focus on 3 species? So because they best indicated the general trends. Number C. All right. So did you get all right? How many of you got all right? Let me see. You can raise your hand if you got all the answers correct. So just let me see how many got all right. Okay. So let's move forward to the next audio that we are going to look at. The next audio is here. And you can go through the questions. Let's go through the questions. It says, only rescue birds. So which kind of birds should you rescue? Which are all alone, which are sitting on the ground, or which are obviously injured? The second question says, what is the best way? So remember, best way of protection from harmful bacteria. And the next one says, the tomato originally came from. So where did it initially or actually come from? Okay. The speaker recommends to put the bird in a, okay, you have 3 options, A, cage, then B says box, and C says bag. Those are your 3 options. Okay. So let's listen to the audio and try and get our answers right. Ready? Okay, hard exercise. All right, Ronald, let's see if you can do this one. Awesome. Anand got all right. High five, Anand. Okay, let's listen to the audio.
Right. Okay, I think we should start by talking about how to rescue a bird. Probably first we should help people understand which birds need rescuing.
Yeah, that's really important, because a lot of times people see a baby bird that's all alone, or they find a bird sitting on the ground and they think it needs to be rescued.
And usually, those are just baby birds learning to fly. So we should emphasize that people should only attempt to rescue a bird that's clearly injured.
We all know that some bacteria can be dangerous and cause diseases. But how can we protect ourselves from harmful bacteria? Well, a lot of people would answer that using antibiotics will kill the microbes. However, antibiotic abuse can be dangerous to people's health as well. In fact, the best way of protection is preventing the disease by keeping yourself clean and washing hands before you eat.
The tomato is a popular vegetable, which figures in the cuisine of many countries around the world. It is particularly prominent in Italian cooking, but it was unknown in Europe until Spanish explorers brought it back from the Americas. The tomato originated in the highlands of Peru. From there, it eventually found its way to Mexico, where it was cultivated by the Aztecs.
Okay, next, let's tell people to put the injured bird in a box with good air circulation. We should let them know that a cage isn't necessary, and a bag, especially a plastic one, could hurt the bird more.
All right, this one was easy, wasn't it? So I'm hoping that this one you get all right. This one was easy. Okay, so let's see what are my answers. Only rescue birds that are, so first he says, people think they should rescue birds that are all alone or sitting on the ground, but that is not correct, right? So you should rescue birds which are obviously injured. Okay, second, what is the best way of protection? So she says by following the hygiene rules and washing your hands regularly. Okay, the tomato originally came from the highlands of Peru, from where it traveled to Mexico. That means originally it came from Peru. And the last one is people should put the bird in a box which is well ventilated. Okay, so did you get all right this time? Awesome. I can see a lot of right answers. Perfect. Sindhu got all right. Esther as well. Manikanta, Siddharth. Then Anima as well. Joffy, very good. Mansi as well. Perfect, Manikanta. Good Melody. Yes, Arshdeep. Yes, Dash of Delight. Awesome. I can see a lot of great answers, Jatinder. Good. Yes, Manikanta. All right, Harshit. Perfect. So let's move forward. Get all right in the next go as well. So the next questions
We all
are
know that
here. They are. So let's read the questions. It says, what describes the weather in the region? That's your first question. And you have three options. Then it says, when taking the exam, the students can take as much time, use a dictionary, or bring several things. When will the car be fixed? And you need to talk about the duration. No head, I'm from Delhi. Okay, so we've read the options. Let's listen to the audio now.
Questions 7 to 12. Question 7.
The flora and fauna of this region are adapted to the special climate. It hardly ever rains here, even in the winter. Most of the year, there is barely a cloud to be seen in the sky.
Question 8.
Your essay writing exam is coming up tomorrow, so I'd like to review some of the testing rules with you now. The good news is that you'll have an unlimited amount of time to write your essay. You won't, however, be permitted to consult a dictionary while writing the exam. Neither can you take anything else into the testing room with you except a pen.
Question 9.
I'm in a bit of a hurry. Do you think you can fix the problem with my car today?
I'm sorry, but I'm behind schedule. I won't be able to get to it until the weekend.
Then I'll have to take a bus to work tomorrow.
All right, let's see the answers. Now, the seventh answer is extremely interesting. Let's see who got that right. Seventh answer was definitely very interesting. Good, Arshdeep got it right. Who else? Baby got it right. Nikita got it right. Masroor got it right. Ravi got seventh answer right. Awesome. Heth got seventh answer right. Good, Paramveer got it right. Siddharth and Harita as well. So yes, seventh answer was interesting. Why? Because let's look at what he says. So he says that it hardly ever rains and there's barely a cloud to be seen in the sky. That means he doesn't name the answer. He says it's not rainy and it's never cloudy. So he doesn't say it, but the only option that is left is dry, right? So my answer is B. Next, she says when taking the exams, the students can take an unlimited amount of time. That means the time is not limited. You can take as much time as you need. And the card will not be fixed until the weekend. What do you think? Until the weekend? That means on the weekend. Number C was correct now. Not before the weekend, right? Will not be fixed until the weekend. All right. A lot of us got all answers right. Let's quickly move to the next set of questions that we have. Here it is. Now it says, what is the woman's opinion on the restaurant? Which type of flower is not common in this area? So think about what not common means. And what homework does this man have to do this week? All right. So let's listen for the answers.
I'll have to take a bus to work tomorrow.
Question 10.
What a restaurant! Never in my life have I tasted such delicious food.
You really think so? But don't you think the service was too slow?
Not a bit. I can't wait to go back there.
Question 11.
Botanists and other flower lovers enjoy visiting this area in the spring and summer to see the abundant variety of wildflowers. In the early spring, it isn't uncommon to find violets, and later in the season, there is a profusion of wild roses as well. Many also come here seeking the wild iris, although that is more rarely seen in these parts.
Question 12.
I have so much homework this week. Not only do I have to write 2 papers, I have to read 4 books, too.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, at least I don't have any exams to study for.
All right, easy, right? These ones are too easy. Okay, so the first one was super easy. She says, never in my life have I had such delicious food, which means the food is good. Then she says, it isn't uncommon to find violets. Isn't uncommon. That's a double negative. Isn't uncommon to find violets. That means you can find violets. However, many seek the iris, which is rarely seen in this part. That means irises are the flowers which are not seen, they are not common. And the man does not only have to write papers, but also read books, means he needs to do all of these. So A, C, and A, I can see a lot of correct options. Good job done, everybody. Let's quickly move to the next recording that we have. Okay, so here is our next recording. All right, let's go through the questions. It says, assignment on sleep and dreams. Luke read that one reason why we often forget dreams is, so what's the one reason we forget dreams? Is it that our memories can't cope with information, we are confused, or they're not important? So make a guess, which one could be correct? The next says, what do Luke and Susie agree about dreams predicting the future? So what do they agree about? And the third one says, Susie says that a study on preschool children having a short nap in the day had which kind of results? So what does Susie say about it? And in their last assignment, both students had problems with what? With analysis, with making an action plan, or self-assessment. So remember, all the options are going to be there in the audio. You need to select the one which is correct. All right, let's hear the audio, get our answers right.
Why we tend to forget most of our dreams soon after we wake up. I mean, most of my dreams aren't that interesting anyway. But what it said was that if we remembered everything, we might get mixed up about what actually happened and what we dreamed. So it's a sort of protection. I hadn't heard that idea before. I'd always assumed that it was just that we didn't have room in our memories for all that stuff.
Me too. What do you think about the idea that our dreams may predict the future?
It's a belief that you get all over the world.
Yeah, lots of people have a story of it happening to them. But the explanation I've read is that for each dream that comes true, we have thousands that don't, but we don't notice those. We don't even remember them. We just remember the ones where something in the real world, like a view or an action, happens to trigger a dream memory.
Right. So it's just a coincidence, really. Something else I read about is what they call segmented sleeping. That's a theory that hundreds of years ago, people used to get up in the middle of the night and have a chat or something to eat, then go back to bed. So I tried it myself.
Why?
Well, it's meant to make you more creative. I don't know why, but I gave it up after a week. It just didn't fit in with my lifestyle.
But most preschool children have a short sleep in the day, don't they? There was an experiment some students did here last term to see at what age kids should stop having naps, but they didn't really find an answer. They spent a lot of time working out the most appropriate methodology, but the results didn't seem to show any obvious patterns.
Right. Anyway, let's think about our assignment. Last time I had problems with the final stage, where we had to describe and justify how successful we thought we'd been. I struggled a bit with the action plan too.
I was okay with the planning, but I got marked down for the self-assessment as well. And I had big problems with the statistical stuff. That's where I really lost marks.
Right.
All right.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, You have some time to look at questions 20.
Okay, let's see what answers have you got. So they did take a lot of options. They did say them out loud, and it is definitely tricky. Let me see your answers. Okay, I can see a lot of correct answers, but the last one, mostly everybody hasn't got it right. The last answer is not correct for everyone. Sachin got all right, so that's great. All right, let's check our answers. So the first one, he read a report which said that if we remembered everything, we might get mixed up about what actually happened. What do you think? So what actually happened is the real world, right? And mixed up is a synonym for confused. So confused with what actually happened, mixed up with what actually happened, which is why our correct answer is B. All right, the next one says, what do Luke and Susie agree about dreams predicting the future? So what do they both agree about? So the ones there are only a few dreams which actually come true, and he says it's just a coincidence. So which word is a synonym for coincidence? It may be just due to chance. All right. The next one, she says that the research didn't really find an answer. The results were not consistent. What do you think? So they didn't find an answer, which means they failed to reach any clear conclusions. And the last one now, Luke says, which two problems did Luke have? So Luke had problems with making an action plan and at the end justifying our answer. So analyzing and justifying our answer. What do you think? Which option means that? So analyzing and justifying our answer is self-assessment. And Lucy, what's her name? Susie had a problem with statistical analysis, and she says that I got marked down for the self-assessment as well. So which one is common for both? It is both of them struggled with self-assessment. All right, so I hope you got all right. Okay, let's quickly look at one last short recording with just two questions. So I have just two questions coming up. It says, which type of insurance did the person choose? And customer wanted the goods delivered where? All right, so let's quickly hear and get these answers as well.
Right. Now, obviously, insurance is an important thing to consider, and our companies are able to offer very good rates in a number of different all-inclusive packages.
Sorry, could you explain a bit more?
Yes, sorry. There's really three rates according to quality of insurance cover. There's the highest comprehensive cover, which is premium rate. Then there's standard rate, and then there's economy rate. That one will only cover the cost of the contents second hand.
Oh, I've been stung before with economy insurance, so I'll go for the highest.
Mm-hmm. And can I just check, would you want home delivery or to a local depot, or would you want to pick it up at the nearest port?
The port would be fine. I've got transport that end.
Fine. And will you be paying by credit card?
Can I pay by cheque?
All right, easy, right? Let me see your answers. Perfect. I can see a lot of us are getting it right. So for the first one, he says, I want the one which is the highest. So the highest was exactly premium. And he wants it delivered. He says, I will pick it from the nearest port. So those are your two answers. And with that short question, we come to the end of our live session. Just wanted to quickly remind you that my course is coming up and starting on the 28th of July. So it's a 4-week course, which is at a super discounted price today. It's only for 119, just for today, 119 only. And it's a 4-week intensive course for 1 hour, 5 to 6 every day. You can use my code DMLive20. So I hope to see you on 28th in my batch. And you can also download our application, IELTS Prep by LeapScholar, if you want free resources. So that is all from my side. I shall take your leave. I will see you tomorrow when we will look at reading, where we look at sentence completion and matching sentence heading questions for reading module. Thank you so much, all of you, for being with me. You can like the video if you liked the content. If you have feedback, you can let it out in the comments below. And do not forget to share the video with your friends who are preparing for the IELTS exam. You can also subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out any live videos. Thank you so much. I shall see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Have a great day.